It is Thursday, January 7th, 2021, and you are tuned into DIRTRACKR Daily. I'm Justin Fiedler. Today on the show, we've got some more USAC driver news and a few more ride announcements for the Chili Bowl, and then we'll take a look at this year's Chili Bowl pick sheet. So bear with me on that one. How's everybody doing today? Is everybody okay? Let's get in. We'll talk about some racing here for a little while and kind of give you a few minutes to be distracted from the events of the world. In some more USAC driver news from yesterday, Sam Johnson announced he will compete full-time in 2021 with the USAC National Midgets with his own team. Johnson last raced full-time with USAC in 2018, driving for Keith Coons. Since then, he's made 24 National Series starts with three top 10 runs. Joining Johnson as a teammate will be rookie Austin Barnhill. Barnhill is from North Carolina and moved from the karting ranks to a microsprint at Millbridge Speedway here just outside Charlotte in 2020. He won't run full-time with the series, but will compete in a majority of the USAC National Midget events. That USAC Midget schedule opens February 5th and 6th at Bubba Raceway Park in Florida. Speaking of midgets, there have been a few more ride announcements for the Chili Bowl in the last 24 hours, up to 2 days or so here. California's Chase Johnson will compete next week with Pennsylvania owner Mike Hefner in his number 72 machine. Johnson was a B-main finisher at the Chili Bowl in 2020, but did finish 8th in the Saturday feature back in 2018. And then a few days ago, we saw non-wing competitor Anton Hernandez put out a tweet in hopes of finding a last-minute Chili Bowl ride, and his tweet was answered. He'll pilot a Fleet Ruzic prepared midget from the Team Ripper stable, joining a stacked group of drivers that includes Justin Allgaier and Power Eye Rookie of the Year Trey Gropp. Anton's best Chili Bowl finish in recent years was a 12th in a Saturday C-main back in 2017. And making his Chili Bowl debut after a late call will be Pennsylvania Sprint Car young gun Anthony Macri. Macri will drive for Chris Dyson and Shawn Michael. Macri picked up a win and 9 top 5 finishes in 24 All-Star Circuit of Champions starts in 2020. He should be up to speed fairly quickly inside the Expo Center, I would assume, with all of the talent that he has. Looking at the Chili Bowl pick sheet now, I mentioned yesterday on the show if that was something people wanted me to do, and I had a few responses. So today's episode is going to be, the rest of today's episode anyway, is going to be a little bit of an experiment. If you're not interested in the Chili Bowl and the Chili Bowl pick sheet, I certainly understand if you turn me off at this point. But I've kind of got a little bit of a setup here. We can go through the sheet and see kind of all the different groups and how it works. I would imagine there are some people out there who've never heard of the Chili Bowl pool pick sheet and haven't been involved with it in the past. Lonnie Wheatley, who is kind of a longtime PR guy in racing, organizes these pools every year, and he does pools for all sorts of events, not just the Chili Bowl, but the Tulsa Shootout and a number of other sprint car and midget events throughout the year. If you would like to participate, you can find Lonnie Wheatley on Twitter. He is at Sooner7NC. So the word Sooner, the number 7, and then NC, all lowercase. You can find the link to the pick sheet on his Twitter account. So what we'll do is I'll put the pick sheet up on the screen. For those of you that are watching this, you'll be able to kind of see as I go through this, but I'm going to kind of read and for those of you listening, try to make it as easy as possible to understand, kind of what some folks are looking at. But as I switch over my screen to the pick sheet here, these are the Chili Bowl pick sheets that are available from Lonnie Wheatley. If you notice here, let me make sure that this is full screen here so that we can kind of see everything that's going on. So the pick sheet is broken out into days and then into groups inside of each day. So when you see your pick sheet, like this year's a little bit different because he's got a couple of drivers split out in a different group. But for example, for those of you that are looking right now, you can see Monday, you've got, what have we got here? 7 groups for Monday. So all of Monday's drivers on the entry list are broken out into groups, and you make one selection for each group throughout all of the days. And then basically where your guys finish through the course of the week, you earn points based on the drivers you've picked on the sheet. And then it's $40 to enter, and then I think last year's winner won like $4,000 or something like that. There's quite a bit of money on the line here, and hundreds of people participate in this every single year. But as we jump into this, this year he's made a platinum group that features kind of the 3 main guys that you would kind of expect to see be on top of the Chili Bowl. They are Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Rico Abreu. So that platinum group has been split out from their individual nights. So you make one selection from that group between Larson, Bell, and Rico. And then as we look now for Monday, with the 7 groups for Monday, group number 1 features Tyler Courtney, Cannon McIntosh, and Chris Windham. So again, one selection out of there. Group 2 is David Gravel, Carson Macedo, Blake Hahn, CJ Leary, Ryan Bernal. Group 3, Chase Briscoe, Mitchell Moles, Tim McCready, Clinton Boyles, Gary Taylor, Trey Marcham, Jerry Coons Jr., Kevin Baer. Group 4, Paul White, Chase Magic, Alex Sewell, Steven Schnapp, Sean McClellan, Corey Schutte, Riley Kreisel, and Holly Holland. Group 5, Cade Morton, Zach Moody, Emilio Hoover, David Prickett, Jacob Denny, Chase McDermott, Ryan Hall, Cody Brewer, Joe Boyles, Steve Glover. Group 6, Steven Russell, Christopher Larson, Marcus Thomas, Logan Sherb, Kyler Johnson, Trey Burke, Dylan Ito, Tim Essenson, Kyle Shipley, Cody Hayes. Group 7 is Kevin Woody Jr., Matt Linder, Taylor Peterson, Mike Ducharme, Danny Fry III, Rocky Silva, AJ Burns, Kevin Brewer, Brett Wilson, and Claude Estes. So these are the 7 groups for Monday. As you kind of take a look at, it's incredibly difficult, obviously, to make selections for each group. You end up trying to figure out, who's going to be good on not only their prelim night, but who's going to be good on Saturday as well. But it gets even more like, everybody knows the big names. Everybody knows Tyler Courtney and Christopher Bell and Rico Abreu and all of these, kind of higher level guys. But where things get really difficult and I think the money for the most part is later in these groups. Your groups 5, 6s, and 7s, where it's going to be much more difficult to try to figure out who's going to be good in those groups. And I put together a little bit of a ranking system kind of based on, your past performances at the Chili Bowl the last 8 years out of the DIRTRACKR analytics section. So I'm actually going to participate in this using just the data out of the database. I'm not going to have my personal opinion involved in any of this. I am strictly going to make picks based on the data out of the database. And I'll submit that sheet, and then we'll let you know, obviously, after Chili Bowl, how we ended up with the numbers out of the analytics section. But as you kind of click around and look, the Tuesday groups, Wednesday groups, Thursday groups, Friday groups, all broken out the same way as Monday. For Tuesday, Group 1, Zach Dahm, Thomas Mesereau, Jonathan Beeson. Group 2, Michael Facino, Shane Golubic, Corey Eliason, Dylan Welch, Tanner Carrick. Group 3, Tony Bruce Jr., Derek Hagar, Dazen Persley, Frank Flood, Cole Bodine, Shane Caudill, Danny Stratton, and Chase Johnson. Group 4, Kyle Jones, Hank Davis, Brendan Bright, Harley Holland, Mike Hess, Nick Drake, Brody Fusen, and Chris Andrews. Group 5 is Brett Becker, Carson Souza, Hayden Reinbold, Noah Harris, Howard Moore, Eddie Tafoya Jr., Mitchell Davis, Aiden Purdue, Kyle Simon, Scott Evans. Group 6 is Carson Quapple, Jeremy Hill, Brendan Wisely, Hunter Fisher, Kyle Beilman, excuse me if I butcher some of these names, Tom Davies, Curtis Jones, Zach Merritt, Brian Stanfill, Toby Alfrey. And then Group 7 is Tanner Allen, Roy Larkin, Brad Wyatt, Chad Freywalt, Charlie Crumpton, Tristan Lee, Kevin Reed, Johnny Brown, Corey Sherb, and Ty Wilkie. And I should mention, besides the daily breakout of groups, there's also an at-large group, which I'm assuming this is kind of other drivers, and we're not really sure where to rank them. And that group is quite large. Includes Kevin Quinn, Don O'Keefe Jr., Randy Sterling, Chris Roseland, Trevor Casey, Cole Scott, Scott Towsley, Bobby Brewer, Tyler Slay, Roy Ency, Jared Warhurst, Colton Garrist, Dylan Postier, David Raqueno, Joey Brazil, Patrick Kopp. Ooh, this one's a bad one. Kala Kellinoy, Sean Quinn, Bryson Smith, Dale Johnston, Braden Cromwell, Sean Robbins, Harley Rose, Kenny Kolsch, Gravy Fairfield, Chad Turner, Sean Shapel, Ryan Paget, Ricky McNair, and Larry Brady. I think the other thing to mention here too is that there's going to be some of these late additions to the field that are not going to be included on this list. Obviously, at a certain point, Lonnie just has to put a list together and put it out. And so there's kind of an instruction sheet that goes along with this too, that it's like if you pick somebody who doesn't end up racing or doesn't race on their night, that you kind of, he's got a formula where you can kind of get a low number of points for those people that end up having issues through the week. The Wednesday groups, Group 1, Brad Sweet, Alex Bright, Kevin Thomas Jr. Group 2, Sammy Swindell, Colby Copeland, Brian Carber, Giovanni Selzy, Tyler Thomas. Group 3 is J.J. Yaley, Jake Newman, Parker Price Miller, Robert Dalby, Emerson Axum, Casey Schumann, Jake Swanson, and Chad Baysflug. Group 4, Ryan Newman, A.J. Hopkins, Chase Randall, Matt Westfall, Daniel Robinson, Tyler Edwards, Travis Berryhill, Colton Cottle. Group 5 is Carter Sarf, Jeb Sessoms, Brandon Welty, Troy Rutherford, Cameron Hagan, Steven Chibester, Tristan Thomas, Cameron Key, Sean Deskins, and Landon Simon. Group 6 is Chase Howard, Sean Jackson, Jake Neal, Chase Elliott, Santino Ferrucci, Kinzer Edwards, Tyler Robbins, Jeff Staza, Austin Odell, and Robert Carson. And then Group 7 is Merrill Lamb, Taylor Reimer, Blake Carrier, Brett Moffitt, Cody Carl, Scott Sherb, Cade Cowles, Joe Weaver, John Clubundy, and Jesse Schoppel. There's interesting numbers, interesting people in these groups. That Group 6 there with Chase Elliott and Santino Ferrucci. Obviously Ferrucci, I think this is his second year being back at the Chili Bowl, but this will be Chase Elliott's first year at the Chili Bowl. So those will be some interesting names to kind of decide in that Group 6 there where you want to go with some of those guys. If you look at Thursday, Group 1, Zeb Wise, Logan Seavey, Buddy Kofoid. Group 2, Chase Stockin, Spencer Baston, Jason McDougall, Sam Haverteep Jr., Brady Bacon. Group 3 is Brody Roa, Andrew Felker, Andrew Deal, Steve Buckwalter, Chance Crum, Joby Miller, Kaylee Bryson, and TJ Smith. Group 4 is Matt Sherrill, Ben Worth, Mike Goodman, Aaron Farney, Tanner Berryhill, Trey Gropp, Tim Buckwalter, Frankie Guarini. Group 5 is Chance Morton, Brock Barrett, Carson Garrett, Ryan Bickett, Austin Prock, Noah Gass, Don Stroud Jr., Cody Ledger, JT Imperial, and Kyle Bellum. Group 6 is Nick Hoffman, Jace McIntosh, Brent Shearer, Troy Betts, Courtney Crone, Marshall Skinner, Joe Walker, Keith Martin, Johnny Kent, and Chad Winfrey. Group 7 is Casey Hicks, Donovan Peterson, Cody Ware. Actually, it's not Cody Ware anymore. He's been replaced in that car. Tress Meller, Justin Dickerson, Mark Chisholm, Jeff Wheeler, Jeffrey Champagne, Merle Sherb, and Ryan Ellis. And then the final day, their groups. Group 1 is Justin Grant, Tanner Thorson, and Aaron Reitzel. Group 2 is Justin Allgaier, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Hunter Schoenberg, Darren Pittman, Tucker Klassmeyer. Group 3 is Brent Beauchamp, Kyle Cummins, Harley White, Jesse Colwell, Casey Kane, Rodney Gardner, Damian Gardner, and Jesse Love. Group 4 is Brayton Lynch, Jody Rosenboom, Ethan Mitchell, Austin Wood, Ace McCarthy, Wesley Smith, Sam Johnson, and Chase Jones. Group 5 is Anthony Nicholson, Jake Nail, Travis Wellpot, Gage Rucker, Luke Ickey, Josh Hawkins, Dustin Wayland, and Chris Dyson. Group 6 is Alex Shriver, JD Black, Lane Goodman, Travis Young, Pierce Urbanowski, Lucas Sherb, Casey Schmitz, and Eric Wilkins. And then Group 7 is Johnny Murdoch, Anthony Esberg, Mike Snyder, Jimmy Glenn, Aaron Warner, Evan Turner, Robert Bell, Chris Tarrant, and Chuck McGilvery. So those are all of the days and all of the groups that are available on the sheet. There's certainly some interesting groups, like I mentioned, that Group 6 on Wednesday with Chase Elliott, Santino Ferrucci. If you look at Thursday, Group 6 as well, I'm a little surprised Nick Hoffman is as low in on the list as he is. I know he's obviously doesn't have experience really in a midget, and this will be his first time at the Chili Bowl, but Hoffman is such a kind of accomplished racer. I'm surprised he's back that far in one of these groups. I figured he'd be a little bit higher up just with the experience he has. But kind of looking at it, just to kind of give you an idea of kind of the direction I'm going to go with the picks from the ranking list. I've got Christopher Bell on the top of the ranking system that I've got put together out of the database. So for sure out of that platinum group, I'm picking Christopher Bell. Even with the year that Larson's had, and him winning last year, I still think Bell is probably the favorite inside the building. I mentioned that the other day, just kind of looking at some of the stats. And I'm going to do I actually have already done a few runs of the DIRTRACKR.com analytics prediction formula. So I'm certainly going to take a look at him as well, kind of probably most likely being the favorite to be the winner this year out of the prediction formula as well. But certainly a lot of names on here, a lot of guys to kind of pick through. And hopefully the analytics section at DIRTRACKR will help you be able to make some of these selections yourself. But I this is always a fun thing to do. It kind of gives you something to help you push along through the week and keep track of guys. And Lonnie usually does a pretty good job of updating daily, where people are in the standings, so you can kind of keep up on a day-to-day basis with how your picks are doing and being compared to everybody around you. And you'll see some really famous names on the rundown if you haven't done this before. Quite a few guys that compete in this will do picks as well. We've seen Tyler Courtney and Chase Briscoe in the past actually win this thing. So certainly a lot of people will be involved in this, but something fun, to kind of add to the week of Chili Bowl. And, Lonnie does a great job with kind of keeping up with all of this. But like I said, if you want to participate in this, go find Lonnie on Twitter. He's got I believe it's a kind of a Google Doc or Google Form set up where you can basically submit your picks and be involved in all of this. And then afterwards, I kind of don't want to do a full pick sheet yet with the data from the database. What I might do is I'm going to do a pick sheet, and then we'll talk about after, maybe some of the picks I made, based on the data, and then, talk about results and see how well that went. So anyway, that's all of your pick groups for the pool sheet. Certainly let me know what you're thinking in terms of where you're going to go with your picks. There's certainly a lot of different directions you can go for each day. A lot of really good drivers in these fields. Some of these pool groups are going to be really difficult to pick. Just kind of running through the group ones. Like I said, I'll probably pick Christopher Bell in that first group based on the data. And then, just kind of looking at it, let's pull the rankings up really fast. I'm not going to share the rankings because of some of the weirdness in the data here. But just to give you an idea of something like that the rankings will kind of give me. So I've got Tyler Courtney, Cannon McIntosh, Chris Wyndham on the list. And who is highest on here? There's Courtney. Yeah, Cannon McIntosh is higher on this list than Tyler Courtney, and I believe Wyndham is a little further down. Yeah, Wyndham's further down. So like the ranking system would have me pick Cannon McIntosh in this case, and McIntosh is going to be the pick here just because of the performance he had last year at the Chili Bowl is going to be a big one for him. He picked up that prelim night win, finished pretty highly in the Saturday feature. Let me go find him real quick and just see what his stats look like on the analytics section. Yeah, so he's got 2 Chili Bowl appearances last 2019 and 2020. He finished 3rd last year in the feature, and then he was 10th in a B-man. He's also got a top 5 the first year he was in a prelim, and he won his prelim night last year. So he's going to be a little bit higher on that list than some of these other guys. So that would kind of be how this works out in terms of the picks. I'm basically just going to go through the ranking list, find my guys, make the picks, and move on. And I know another thing that kind of happens with these pick sheets is that people making multiple sheets and submitting those, because you can certainly do that. If you want to pay another $40, you can submit a second sheet, a third sheet, whatever you want to do. And my favorite thing, the couple of times I've actually been to the Chili Bowl, is to be out there on practice day, and there always seems to be a group of people that kind of gather in the grandstands that are watching hot laps and watching the timing and scoring to see where people are kind of ending up in some of their hot lap groups and stuff. And then a lot of people don't submit. I think you have to have your picks in before hot laps on Monday. But a lot of people wait kind of until that very last minute to make last minute adjustments and changes to their pick, into their group picks. So this definitely turns into a big deal for a lot of people. So, but anyway, this kind of was a little bit of an experiment. So let me know if you hated me doing this, or if maybe we should do this more in the future with some of this stuff. But definitely wanted to go through the pick sheet and talk about a lot of this stuff. And kind of get you up to speed on what the pick sheet looks like. I know there's probably a lot of you out there that haven't done this, so at least you got a chance to see it, and maybe you'll participate this year. I'm definitely going to do it, and we'll certainly talk about that more in the future. Later today, I'm going to drop a bonus episode of Dirt Tracker Conversations. This one features announcer and flow racing and Dirt on Dirt's Dustin Jarrett. He's on his way to the Wild West Shootout this weekend, and we talked everything late model racing for nearly 40 minutes. He previewed the Wild West Shootout. We talked Lucas and the World of Outlaws, and a bunch of drivers to watch this season. You can find that a little bit later today in this podcast feed and on the Dirt Tracker YouTube channel. And then looking forward to next week, I've got a great show already recorded that will tie in nicely to the opening of the Chili Bowl, so stay tuned for that. There are 3 items on the streaming schedule today, with Flow Racing streaming the first night of the Ice Bowl from Talladega Short Track and Flow Racing 24/7. Speed Sport TV has the IMCA Winter Nationals live from Cocopah Speedway. To see that full daily streaming schedule, visit DIRTRACKR.com/watch tonight. That's it for the show today. Hope everybody has a good Thursday. You can find Dirt Tracker Daily on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or where you get podcasts. Please subscribe and leave a review. You can also watch the show every day on YouTube and Facebook. You can email the show at info@dirttracker.com, and you can follow along at facebook.com/dirttracker, twitter.com/dirttracker, and the website itself, dirttracker.com. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Justin_Fiedler. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for more Dirt Tracker Daily.